Advisory Committee. Today is Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Appreciate you all being here. For roll call, we will just keep track of meeting attendance via this Teams record, and we'll do it that way. So I think we have, yeah, we'll be able to see anybody that pops in and out. So that's how we'll do that. Meeting minutes, you all should have been sent a copy of the June 26th meeting minutes from our last meeting. Want to hold time and space to ask if people have any additional items that they'd like to add to those minutes, any edits that they'd like to make to those minutes, or any further follow-up conversation, comments, questions, anything along those lines. Okay. If you do have anything at any point that you would like to get added to the minutes, feel free to send an email to either myself or to Ashanti, and we can make sure that those changes get reflected in those minutes from June. Okay, so moving on, first thing, order of business, we will talk about project updates. So I'm not sure who LMJV is doing
Diane.
Project updates. Oh, Diane, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, so first slide here is showing sidewalk work on Border Avenue near Royalston, Farmers Market Station, Minneapolis. We'll have some more updated pictures next month with our CMC meeting. But that's what's going on in that area. Next slide. And this picture shows the completed stormwater BMPs at Bryn Mawr Station in Minneapolis. And then we've got Bassett Creek Valley Station and the Moose Line Trail Bridge in Minneapolis that opened a few months ago. Next slide. And then this shows the completed freight track adjacent to the backfilled Kenilworth LRT tunnel near Westlake Street Station, Minneapolis. And tunnel is making a lot of progress. Okay, next slide. And this is LRT track construction near West 21st Street Station, Minneapolis. And then the one thing I want to note is we are over 80% done with civil construction and doing systems, and we started doing testing for the systems work, and we're keeping track of that, and we're reaching out to businesses and multifamily developments to advise them of the status of the project, and that we're planning to open in 2027, and focus will be on safety. So that's kind of what our focus will be for the next several months. And that's what I've got. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No questions for Diane? Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Diane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with that, we can move into consent business and the DBE achievements.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. John Tao here. And, just sharing the DBE achievements as of June 30th. If you look into the handouts, you'll also see update DBE progress reports for each of the contracts. One thing to note is that the civil contract has a lot of changes on there for the build to date. There were some errors that we discovered on the billing for the civil contract, and we worked with the civil contractor to come to a resolution of how we can account for those errors that were discovered. So we are working through that from pay app 81 and 82 to correct that, to make sure that we don't include any of the time settlement payments that were a part of that settlement. So there was some errors, and then we are correcting that within the numbers. So aside from that, achievement is still exceeding participation or the commitments right now, and we're continuing to monitor that. And then a little bit later on, you're gonna hear from the interns that have been helping us this summer with doing visits within the field. So I'm gonna leave that for them. But if there are any questions regarding the DBE participation and numbers, then yeah, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will hand it back to Tyler.
Thanks, John. Any questions? No? All right. We can move on along then to the non-consent business updates, civil. So, Krista?
Great. Thanks, Tyler. All right. DBEs, as you can see, our list was small last month, and it's going to continue to get smaller over the next 3 months. So we lost 4 of our DBEs last month for a little bit of time, and we have E&J on there. We have Dick Tuzik not back out with Econ Placer, MBE with trucking on call, continued with their pavement sweeping. They're a big company of 4 people total, with 2 of them being their sweepers. PWS, Reiner Contracting coming up southern Minnesota, which is awesome. Rock On and Stonebrook. So we have smaller numbers, and so they're getting ready to do their completion parts of the project. So we will be updating our report as we work with the closeouts. And there's the sample for that one. And when it comes to DBE stuff, like I said, we are in the process of doing project closeout with them and doing a summary report, which will include some graphs and some statistics and everything from the project. That's it for that part. Moving on to the workforce part. First of all, does anybody have any questions regarding our DBE participation, where we are exceeding the goal by 7%? No questions? Let's move on to workforce then. All right, so this was from the month before. 4 million, just over 4 million our state. MSCI participation was at 19%. That did increase this last month, even though our numbers went down. Our POCI numbers were where they were, where it caused the percentage to go up. Female participation 6%. POCI participation for the month, as I put in the report, 22%, which is 7% higher since the last DWAC meeting, which is a nice thing to see. Even though our workforce is getting smaller and smaller, we're maintaining certain crews and certain individuals on our project. All right, if you could go to the next slide, please. So the workforce remaining, just a little update, as you guys know, and I'm going to keep it on there, final leg of the project. And most of the work, the field work will be done. We are going into punch list warranty and all that stuff right now. But our workforce outreach efforts will continue to grow. We are extremely involved with Lake Street Works and their program. We are doing multiple presentations there and participation. We are working closely with Rick. Thank you, Rick, with building strong communities, not just here in the cities, but throughout the state. Construct Tomorrow. We're in the planning stages of their events for the coming school year. Goodwill Easter Stills, and that's a good encompass of our workforce outreach. And like you guys have heard, I keep giving you little teasers. As Brian knows, I'm working around the clock almost with the inclusion summary for our project. Look forward to an invite for you guys to attend a presentation sometime this fall regarding our inclusion summary for the project. And that is that for that one. Any questions to end it? No, Tyler, not even a question from you. I did so good at our meeting the other day. Awesome. Thanks,
Just
you guys.
waiting. I'm just waiting to see. I'm excited.
Oh,
I'm excited.
It's fun. You're gonna like the graphs. Thanks, you
I
guys.
I see Rick has his hand up. Go ahead, Rick.
What's up, Rick?
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to recognize Krista and the work their team has done to support what we're doing, and as far as mock interviews are concerned, or any kind of request for assistance, Krista has been there to help us move forward. So I just want to say thank you, Krista, for that, and through her efforts and Tracy Jackson's efforts, we have a couple of people that made it into the trade. So with the operating engineers and one with the laborers. So thank you.
Hey, thank you, Rick. And you guys, Rick brought up a great point. There's an individual who is one of our cement masons in the industry that we hired him 3 years ago to be on the light rail project. And when it came to the winter slowdown, one of our trade partners, our subcontractors, North Country on the project, actually asked if they could take this individual under their wing, and they did. And now Jonathan is back with us, not back with us, our crew, but back on the project with North Country doing the concrete pours, the touch up and all that stuff. So it's great to have him out there. I can't wait. Next week, I'm going to go out and visit him. And then, yes, Rick, thank you so much. Kevin Lee, our operator that we sponsored for Lunda, is working on 494 and 52, and I talk to him at least twice a week. So it's great, Rick. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Back at you. So I just wanted to make sure that you get some props for that, because it's been a great partnership, and we'll look forward to working with you again.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Krista? All right. Thanks, Krista. Mike.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Tony with Aldridge Electric, APJV. And if you can just click on the next slide. So, the same thing about the hours, just expecting a little bit building, doing more work in the tunnel and some civil work. So we'll be doing mock interviews at Summit Academy tomorrow. For May and June, we're running about 4,000 hours. You can see the numbers there for the POCI and the female. Overall in the project, we're about 21% POCI and over 9% female participation with about 165,000 hours. So that's where we were the last 2 months. So hopefully hours will start picking up in July and August for the fall. So that's where we stand. Next slide, please. And so that's just a breakdown for May, the hours, so you can see that for itself. The next slide will be for June. It's pretty similar. During this month, there was a laborer for Ram Construction. His hours changed from other to not specified. It turns out to be Hispanic, so we'll have to get that sorted out. But we lost 82 hours there just in LCP trackers for some kind of clerical error. So I have to try and figure out how to pick that up. But he was in fact Hispanic, so we'll include those hours back at some point. But that's where we stand as far as electricians, operating engineers. The hours are minimal for other than the electricians and equipment operators. Next, so the two DB subcontractors that we had on site during May or June were just Gunner Electric and Top Line. So that's all we had working out there. So we started gearing back up later in July, early July. So we're setting some more stations. So we'll see some more next period in October. And so I think that's any questions.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
I believe Connie?
Yep, I'm here. All right, so for the Hopkins Rail Support Facility, you can just keep going. One more. So project updates, Gunner Electric has been on site since May 28th and will continue to be on site as they start underground work. They are expected to be on site until the job is finished. Around September, we're still looking for our DBE M360 to supply Flynn Midwest. And AW Painting still projected to be on site in November. And we have a tentative steel delivery date for tomorrow. So hopefully that happens. Next slide. Here are some pictures, this page and the next page, of Gunner Electric. They're installing conduits into the poured walls and installing the ground loop. They are only DBE on site right now. Next slide. So currently we're at 10% POCI and 3% women. I was looking at the projected workforce hours. I believe that these numbers are lower just because the trades that have been on site, it's just the, historically they just have had fewer POCI female participation. But coming up, we've got some contractors that have committed to much more participation. Next slide. There's just a division of our POCI hours. Next slide, and then female, male. And then here's just a breakout of who we've had on site and how many hours they've had and where the overall totals are at 10%, 3%, as we stated on the other slide. And I think that is all I have. Any questions?
Okay. Thanks, Connie.
Yep.
All right, moving right along, committee discussion. First item, is the useful function DBE site visits. I'm not sure who is leading this one. John, do you know?
Hi. It's
hello.
the interns.
Take it away.
Yeah. Hafso and I, my fellow intern and I, are going to be presenting on kind of what we've been working on this summer, which has been the commercial useful function DBE site visits. You can go to the next slide. I'll just do a quick little intro while you see our fun little pictures on the side there. My name is Isabel, in case anyone didn't make it to the meeting in June. I'm a small business intern working in the light rail transit unit with John and Julianne. And we've been doing a lot of CUF visits this summer, checking in with the businesses and seeing how their progress is going, if they're getting paid on time, all those fun questions. I just graduated from the University of St. Thomas in May with degrees in business administration, entrepreneurship, and then environmental studies. I'll let Hafsa give a little introduction if she would like to, and then I can get into some of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, of course. My name is Hafsa Yusuf. Sorry if I sound a little sick. I'm a rising junior at NYU studying business technology management and data science. I have been also working as a small business intern on the light rail transit unit, same position as Isabel, and I'll let her take it away.
Thanks. So basically we're just going to give you guys a little overview of what we worked on this summer, what we learned, all those fun things. And so as you can see on this slide, we have some very lovely, silly photos of Hafsa and I in our safety gear. We did a lot of safety trainings this summer. We worked on some kind of internal training programs, and then we also did the eRail Safe program. Got all my badges on me right now for BNSF and LMJV, all you lovely folks that are presenting to us. We did all your trainings. So that was really interesting and something that I wasn't expecting to go into the summer with and learn. We also worked a lot with the federal DBE program, and we read a lot of Part 26, just understanding like what the regulations mean and like what we're asking for and why we're asking for it from these different DBE firms. We attended a lot of CAC meetings, which is, if people don't know, just a big group of folks from the city of Minneapolis, from MnDOT and all that, and we helped actually get to certify some DBE applications this summer, which was really fun, and I think that taught us kind of a lot about what the DBE program actually is, and when we're talking to folks, what kind of work they do, because it's really varied. And I think one big takeaway from this summer is just kind of how exciting it was to understand what actual implementation of public policy and regulations actually looks like, because I just graduated from school, and Hafso is still in school, and so it's been, you know, a lot of reading the last few years of my life, and so it's interesting to see kind of what that implementation of public policy looks like. And then our last little point here is just getting a feel for construction industry language. I think I didn't have like a crazy background in this before I came into the summer, and so I think we both learned a lot about kind of just lingo and all the acronyms that y'all are very used to that we were trying to learn in just a few months. But I do feel like I can sit in a conversation and kind of get a grasp of what's going on now, which is great. Next slide.
Yeah, most of our work this summer has revolved around conducting these CUF visits and monitoring them. And CUF stands for Commercially Useful Function. And according to the regulations, a DBE, a disadvantaged business enterprise, will perform a CUF when it's responsible for executing the work, managing the work, performing the work involved. So we just check to make sure that the small businesses get paid on time, the DBE regulations are met and followed, as it's a federally funded project. And after you start to understand and gain some of the skills, and you understand what the CUF goals are, you research who the DBE owners are. And this summer we primarily focused on the Green Line extension, and we did a couple of CUF visits for the Blue Line extensions. And we the first step, I guess, was emailing the DBEs to set up the virtual on-site visit. And then after we started conducting the CUF visits, we would complete the form with the small business owners. And this would be information regarding their financials, their subcontractors, the documents, the leased equipment that they might or might not have. And then we followed up and requested the necessary documents. So this would be the 3 most recent invoices, the subcontract agreement, and just a sample of work in the form of blueprints, plans, images, anything like that. And then we would send the CUF back to the DBE firms to make sure that they reviewed and signed it. And then after we organized and uploaded the document in their rightful folders and updated the main tracking records, which are used by a lot of different agencies and departments, we would close out the necessary DBEs that may have completed their work for their respective contracts. And this is just like a timeline of the journey that we took for most of our internship. And next slide. Yes, this is a lovely collage of some of the images that Isabel and I took this past summer. The first one to the left is our team, the Light Rail Transit Unit, at our first CUF visit. The lovely thing about this CUF visit was that the owner, Carlo Lachman Singh, whose office is in South Minneapolis, actually asked us to come to his office. And it's a family-owned business, so we were able to talk to him and his family members, his children, and go through that. And to have that be our first CUF visit, I think it really helped us understand and visualize and see the work that we're doing in a very meaningful way. And the rest of these images are pictures of the tours that we took. We took 2 tours. We took one tour with our manager, so it was like a small tour, and we went along some stops on the Green Line extension. And the second tour was a much bigger one and a much more, I guess, official one. And this one was at every stop, and we went from the top to the bottom of the extension. of the project, the alignment. And one of the pictures has the one on the bottom to the right is a picture of Gunner Electric, which is a COF, which is a DBE whose COF is that I conducted, and they're on a lot of our projects. And these are some of the other stations and the terminal station. And yeah, these photos are just little pictures of some of the work that we've been doing this summer. Next slide, yeah. And then for the latter part of our internship, we researched and learned a lot more about the DBE application process, which first included sitting down and reading through subpart D and E of the regulations, and then being present through the CAC meetings that Isabel mentioned in the beginning. And over this past month, Isabel and I were actually able to work through an entire DBE application start to finish, and we met with the small business owner, and yesterday we were actually able to present it and certify that application process, that DBE application. The whole process was like a journey. You know, at the start, you have to sort through all the documents. You have to look through everything that they sent. And it can be a little tedious, but when you meet with the small business owners, you feel like a sense of the work that you're doing is very meaningful, and it helps our local businesses and our community. And then we're able to conduct the visit and present it to the CAC, the multi-agency meeting. And the good thing is about our internship process that I want to mention is how we were able to be very hands-on. And I credit that to our managers, John and Julianne, who gave us a lot of, who mentored us, of course, and taught us everything, but we were able to then take our learnings and apply it to, these real world actions. And we've also been very privileged to, alongside a few other interns, to participate in the Met Scholars Program over at Robert's office every Friday. And this program made our experience as interns very special and meaningful, as we were able to do the typical intern work from Monday to Thursday, while also gaining some very important professional and life skills, whether that be through networking, helping our resumes, and hearing from a bunch of diverse guest speakers. And yeah, I'll let Isabel finish it up.
Yeah, you can go to the next slide. All right, and then we just have some key takeaways that we wanted to share with you guys. One of the first ones is that after having a lot of conversations with these folks, I think sometimes it's hard to see like how your work actually is like, impacting people's lives, but it's been really cool when we've talked to small businesses. There are a lot of them that like actually like grow and develop their staff a lot because of the DBE program and getting to work on some of the projects that you guys are in charge of. And yeah, I know specifically we talked to a couple engineering firms that have expanded, they've gotten to do a lot of professional development with their staff because of the additional funding from this project and projects working on the Green Line extension in the winter. They can keep people on for longer and help them kind of develop and learn new skills. And then our second one here, we did a lot of facilitating conversations with business owners and the contractors. So if some of you have gotten emails from us, I'm happy to say that it's been a fun time and a fun summer. But we learned a lot in terms of like, how to facilitate those conversations best. And getting to spend some time, especially with the business owners, getting to hear their stories, which is really, really fun. You mentioned top line advertising a little bit ago, and I remember that CF visit really well because we had a really fun time talking with that business owner. And then number 3, just that we can make more impact as interns than we think. I think a lot of time you start in like a small kind of position like this, and you're like, oh, I just kind of like take the work people give me and then move on. But I would definitely echo what Hafso said about getting to get a lot of real world experience. I don't know why I can't talk today. I think I need some sugar. But yeah, a lot of impact that we've been able to make the last 3 months, which has been fun. And then also, Hafso and I definitely learned a lot this summer about kind of how different you have to like word emails and things when you're representing a government organization, which is really different than a lot of academic writing and things that we've had to do in school. And so it's been really just an interesting, different way of learning communication. And then just remembering to advocate for small businesses in your work, no matter kind of what role that you have. It really does make a difference for people when they can get that foot in the door. And so, yeah, that's been really fun. Next slide, we just say thanks. So yeah, there's a little smiley face. If anyone has any questions, we'd love to answer them. Also, just so you know, I think this is Hafso's second to last day. So I just want to say that I really enjoyed working with her so much. And even though I get to stay on, it won't be as much fun because I won't have her to hang out with every day. So yeah, that's all we got. Any questions?
Well, thank you guys for all your time and all your work, and fresh perspective is always a very welcoming thing. So appreciate you guys and the work that you put in and the takeaways and contributions. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Yeah.
I'd just like to say thank you for representing and being part of this great program. And I'm sure you guys are going to go on to reflect the foundation that you've laid. And we wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Okay. All right. Next topic, continuation of DWAC meetings. All right. So it has, I think it's become pretty apparent that with LMJV's work kind of slowing down, coming to a close, ADJV's holding pretty steady in kind of the work that they're doing and the output and the hours and all the things. Sean Lundquist is plugging away, it's just kind of business as usual. I have heard from a number of committee members that it's feeling like, okay, is now kind of that time where we should start talking about the wind down and kind of conclusion of these meetings. I admittedly do not know well enough the requirements within contracts and charters to know what is permissible. John, I'm sure you probably know a lot more than I on that front. But I do want to bring it to this crew just to get, I guess, initial thoughts, feelings. On one hand, I do think that time together is helpful. It is useful. It's always nice to kind of take a break from the usual to spend some time together. I think that, and this is my, I guess, personal reflection on it, the takeaway and the gain that comes with, London kind of winding down. Again, Mike holding steady, Connie's crew just kind of holding steady. I'll be honest, I'll just name it. I don't know what more there is to gain, what takeaway people are kind of walking away. Just again, to name it, we haven't had really community engagement in these spaces. We always have that on our agenda. We haven't had that in a long time, and I'm not gonna, that's not a prop to get into that conversation again. We don't need to do that. But just to name, it's, I don't know what purpose or function anymore. Now, if folks were to tell me, yes, and I do get a lot of insight and useful information from these meetings, then that's totally fair. That's fine. That's why I want to have this conversation at large. I bring it because that's just some feedback that I've heard from other members in other spaces, that it's starting to feel like these meetings are kind of sunsetting, if not already have sunsetted. So I want to, I guess, prompt that and have a conversation about that. Krista, I saw your hand kind of pop up and down, so I'll go ahead and pause.
Thanks, Tyler. I just want to clarify. I want to answer your question that you put out there about the contracts. I actually was reading it today because of some other stuff that I'm working on, and I did find the part about, the different pieces of DWAC, and there is nothing that states regarding the final date and when they should stop and how they should stop or anything. And so that's why we had written the email also saying, since we're 3 months to, work being done, not even anymore, that the LMJV does ask the committee that we be removed from the meetings. So, yep, contract looks good, Tyler, at least ours. Thank you.
Okay.
Tyler, this is John Tao.
Yep.
Yep. I think regarding advisory committees for a lot of these project-focused committees, I would lean on the project office and some of the other committees that are also focused on the project, such as the Community Advisory Committee, the Business Advisory Committee, and from talking to the outreach folks and the communications folks from the project office, in a similar fashion, they've also wound down some of those meetings. And a lot of those meetings had in the past, in our committee here as well, reports to the Corridor Management Committee, where Councilmember Carter is also a part of that committee as well. And we report these achievements and achievements for DBE and workforce there as well. So that could be an option for people to get information about the project if they are interested in that.
Okay. Yeah, that's very good to know. I think that the one key element in my mind that should still remain constant, regardless whether we decide to continue to convene or not, is the continued availability and transparency of information to anybody that may want to acquire information. So if we have a continued path to provide access to updates and information outside of this specific gathering, then I think that would be something that would, to your point, be satisfactory. I think certainly a conversation that I need to have further with Ashanti when he gets back to get his thoughts. But in what he and I talked about before this meeting and after the last one, I feel fairly confident that he probably feels the same, but I'd want to circle back with him just to make sure he still feels the same way. Other thoughts on the standing and status and continuation of these meetings? Dan, I know you've been on this committee for a long time. Rec, been there a long time. Lane, been on a long time. Mike.
Is there a norm based on other projects in the past that we should be aware of?
It's a good question, and I'm not sure. I joined this group 3 years ago, so this is I'm on a couple other committees and a couple other big projects, but those are just getting started, like Blatnick up in Duluth. So that's just getting rolling. So I couldn't tell you. I have not experienced how to close these out before, so this is also new for me.
I think that, and I think Elaine or Mike, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but for those particular committees, they went on and then they too sunsetted at some point as well. And it really follows along with the progress of construction and the amount of activity that's on the project that really dictates whether there are various topics or issues to raise up to discuss and provide advice on.
Well, this is Elaine talking. On other light rail projects that I have sat on, there was active, ongoing participation by community members and the members of the oversight group. That has not been the case on this project. Most of the people that have attended in the last year or two, it's just dwindled considerably. The committee members have left, or if not left, they've just stopped attending. Most of us, it's agency people. Rick, union people, and the contractors. So I'm not sure we're just meeting for the sake of meeting. But I do think that it's a good idea, Tyler, for you and Ashante to discuss it and review the charter so we can get a better idea if we need to continue these.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, John, the other projects didn't just sunset or just kind of stop. It happened because the project was completed. And we did do a closeout. I mean, there was active participation right up to the end, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. So maybe a suggestion maybe is the frequency, because right now we're running every other month. Then maybe the frequency can be like quarterly or something like that up until the end, where it allows updates, but then maybe there are other milestones that we can lift up and highlight as like good points of contact as well.
Yeah, that could be. And I know the last time we talked about frequency adjustment, we had kicked around what feels right. Does, bi-monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, what feels right. So we could certainly revisit that. Let me ask it another way. Would there be anybody opposed to reduction in these meetings, or potentially even just conclusion?
No. That's my
No.
vote.
No, I'm not opposed.
I'm not.
No, whatever Met Council decides, APJV will participate no matter what. So whatever you guys decide is fine with us. As far as APJV is concerned, I don't see, I mean, Premier's got a workforce of about 9, craft labor, Aldridge has got about 9, Gunner's got 4 to 5, Elite's got 4. I mean, that's what it's been, and that's what it's just going to be steady work. I don't see any big compressions or big hiring needs coming up. And we're going to start testing the trains pretty soon for the next, from November to, I think they're going to start testing some track in the fall. And it's going to be 13 months of running trains empty. And I just don't see a lot of crews, any pickup in crews, or our DBEs are going to be what the DBEs will be. They'll be true up with the DBEs, but that's something we can work out with the council. So that's kind of where we stand. And I don't see anything significant changing for APJV.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think next steps are probably when does Ashante get back? John, do you know?
After Labor Day. So
After Labor Day. Okay.
yeah, and I think if time-wise, I would say you can probably touch base with him in September and then maybe make a determination in October. I would say
Okay.
in the October meeting or something like that.
I think that probably is what makes sense. I'll try to find some time and connect with him so that we can plan to come prepared to the October meeting with a kind of decision on the direction and path. Again, I'm not 100% sure what that would be. I hear the feedback and thoughts of you all. So I'll have a conversation with Ashanti and we'll come to the October 18th, and that may be the last one. That may be the last one for a while. We'll just kind of see which way that bounces.
So isn't the last one then, if it's an October meeting, which I don't see why you couldn't meet with Ashanti and then just email the group, but anyways, at the LMJV office that was voted on last year when we went through the calendar? Or should we just do a virtual again?
Well, I think that's part of the conversation that I'll have with them. I think any of those options. To be honest with you, Krista, my main motivation to retain the October 18th one is because I'm hoping that to have your report in hand by then we can talk about it.
Right. Well, that's gonna be a separate entity in itself. We'll invite you guys. You'll be part of the invitation for it. Instead of doing a bunch of multiple presentations, we'll do one master.
Gotcha.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think any and all kind of pivot paths right now are on the table, and so I will have a conversation with my fellow other co-chair, and we'll plan on sending out communications and decisions. We'll send some out to the group before the October 18th so that we know, are we getting together at in Hopkins, or are we going to do virtual, or are we just not going to do it at all? So once I talk to Ashanti, we'll send something out in September, hopefully before October 18th. I won't leave you guys hanging come the 18th and wondering what are we doing. So that I can commit to. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, comments regarding this topic? If not, we can move on to announcements. All right. Announcements. What do we got?
We didn't receive any notices for public comment either. So
Okay. Okay. None? Then I think we can adjourn. So again, the next meeting as of now, penciled in October 18th in Hopkins at the LMJV office. Again, I will be in touch with you guys, either myself or Ashanti or John or Julianne. One of us will send a communication out to the group with final decision on what is going to happen for the next meeting. Elaine, go ahead.
October 18th is a Saturday.
Oh, interesting.
I won't be at this meeting.
Me neither.
You are right, it is. Could it perhaps be the 16th, which is a Thursday? We'll take a look at that and get that corrected.
It's also Construction Inclusion Week.
Okay, it's good to know. So, not the 16th, we could look at.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about the date. It is the 16th. And I think, Krista, you had mentioned you wanted it at the LMJV offices because it was Instruction Inclusion Week. Construction. I said instruction. Construction Inclusion Week. So.
Right, because if we were to have it, and if our project was still in full force running, it would give a great reason to have it there and have a topic about it and invite people from the project there. But we are done, you know, pretty much with when it comes to talking about that kind of stuff. So that's why. And if there's, I mean, we've had to miss events because of DWAC meetings, or we've had to have other people represent, and it's the same case. The calendar's full for it with great events.
Okay. Yeah, we can certainly keep that in mind when I connect with Ashanti on that. Okay. Any last parting words? If not, I can call this meeting closed and we can adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
All
a
right.
great rest of the
Bye.
week, everyone. Enjoy the weather. Bye.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.